Hi, everyone. Spencer Pauly, Western Washington reporter for the Center Square here. And today I'm talking with Tim Klauser, the Eastern Washington reporter. Tim, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Spencer?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're here to talk about your recent story on the Spokane region's bold new plan to form a regional task force. And task force would address the pressing need for a new jail and tackle broader issues like behavioral health and public safety. Am I correct?
Yeah, I would say that's the gist of the plan. It's a lot more overarching than that. This is following an effort back in 2023, the last push to build a new jail, where they put a 0.2% sales tax measure on the ballot in 2023. Now that failed. 60% of the voters went against it. So now here they are 2 years later, getting ready for another push.
60% is kind of high against. What was the reason why it didn't get passed?
Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles attributed it to a lack of outreach with the community, an informational campaign, getting everyone from all these jurisdictions behind it. Because, you have Spokane County has the second largest city in the state, city of Spokane, but it also has all these other smaller communities throughout the county that also use that jail. So you really need to get the support from everyone. But the sticking point for a lot of people, and the mayor told me this last summer when I talked to her, Mayor Lisa Brown, was that a lot of people saw the initiative in 2023 as a blank check. Now that sales tax measure would have raised over $1.7 billion over, I think it was 30 years. Now, about a third of that, $500 to $600 million, would have constructed a new jail. Now, the rest of that would have gone to the county, its detention services, and public safety in general, for the county to do what it wants. Now, the communities, I should say, weren't too happy about that. They wanted to know exactly how the county planned to spend this money, and how it was going to address other needs in the community. Now, Mayor Brown at the time, she was running against then Mayor Nadine Woodward, who was supporting the plan initially. Many people attribute the ultimate failure of that tax proposal to the then mayoral candidate Brown, her lack of support for the measure. Now, she told me last summer, look, I'm happy to get ready to push another measure, but it's going to have to include ways to address regional needs, and homelessness and opiate addiction is at the top of that, which this plan will attempt to do. Now, there's nothing substantial out yet. They've been meeting monthly to try to stand this up, which they hope to do in the next few weeks. But the plan is to put together a tax proposal and just this actionable plan in general, potentially even outside of a tax proposal, that finds ways to fund a new jail, fund the city and county's homelessness system, shelters, treatment providers, stuff like that, taking care of high utilizers in the criminal justice system that are frequently swapping between emergency rooms in the downtown jail. Really, they're trying to hit every nail on the head with this.
Is it just a dire need? I mean, this is 2 years after that measure failure, and now are we seeing like worsening jail conditions? Are there just public safety concerns? Like, I'm trying to think of what kind of specific events or pressures are causing us to come back to this.
Yeah, well, Spokane County has two detention facilities. It's downtown jail, which is within city limits, but on the county campus. And then there's this Geiger Correctional Facility over closer to Airway Heights, which is outside of the city, a few miles away. Now, that facility, Geiger, is very old. It can only take certain inmates, usually lower class inmates, people that aren't committing violent felonies and stuff. All those people are sent to the downtown jail. Now, that jail is very old and lacking much needed space. The jail itself often enters a red light status, meaning that there's no available beds. So if an officer or sheriff deputy arrests someone, they can show up with that person, but they're going to have to sit outside and wait, whether it be 5 minutes or 5 hours for the jail to release an inmate and then make space for that Otherwise, they're going to have to take that inmate, if they can't take them somewhere else like Geiger, and just release them back into the public. Now, that happened. It's happened hundreds of times. And they want to stop this from continuing. And so does the community, but it's just been getting to a point where, hey, let's put a tax proposal forward that everyone can support, which is a little tough considering that the majority of voters are in the city of Spokane, which is a blue, it's generally a Democratic city surrounded by a largely conservative Republican area with the county and those other rural cities that surround it.
You just touched on something I was going to ask here, which is when I'm looking at your article, it seems that we need the regional task force would include not only the city of Spokane, but Spokane County and Spokane Valley. Now, are there like challenges in aligning the priorities of these different jurisdictions? Like you said, Spokane is a blue dot amongst like a little red area. I guess is one way to phrase that, but that's something I think about. What do you think?
Well, when you look at the county, I mean, don't quote me on the exact numbers here, but there's around 700,000, 750,000 people in Spokane County. Sorry, maybe closer to 500. And more than half of those people live within the city of Spokane. Now, another large portion of those people live in the city of Spokane Valley, which is directly to the right of the city of Spokane. When you're driving from the city of Spokane to the city of Spokane Valley, you can't even tell the difference. They just mesh together. So, I mean, they're essentially one larger city that has two local governments, but they've tackled these issues on their own, and so has the county. And the county campus, again, is within city limits. So really, there's been this renewed sense of collaboration, especially between the city of Spokane and Spokane County, because they've kind of been at odds in recent years. So they're ready to get back together. The county and the city had a meeting just a few weeks ago, and it was their first joint meeting between the city council and the Board of County Commissioners in years. And they talked about largely their opiate response, but also homelessness and other issues. But we're really seeing this renewed sense of collaboration, which is great, where we can get the county and all these cities together to push this, considering that's where most of these people are. Now, there's several other cities throughout the county that are much smaller. It's not clear whether they will be included in this or not, but it seems like right now they're trying to really tackle the areas where, say it's a walking distance. Like it might take a long time, but if you were determined, you could walk from Spokane Valley to the city of Spokane along these roads while avoiding the freeway. And same from, say, where the Spokane City Hall is only about a half mile away from the county campus. It's just across the Spokane River. You can see the clock tower from the county campus standing at the city hall. So I don't think it'll be difficult getting everyone aligned on these, considering they're all shared challenges, but there will be issues in overcoming political differences. Like I said, the city of Spokane is it's a Democrat dot in a red county. So you have the Spokane City Council, which is largely progressive, and the Board of County Commissioners, which has a Republican majority. I mean, they might go at odds over certain things, but that's just something that they'll have to hash out in the task force. Now, it's important to note at the same time, I mean, Spokane Valley, you have a sort of different political leaning over there as well, but it's also going to include the sheriff, who himself is a conservative generally, and several other stakeholders throughout the community, those being homeless and service providers, healthcare providers, and professionals, people from every edge of this issue. We're going to have input. It won't just be politicians. We're going to have subject matter experts on this task force as well. And it's not going to be something that's rushed. They're hoping to get an actionable plan and a ballot measure out by spring 2026.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they're going to push it next spring. They could push it in 2027 or 2028. But I do think that their goal is to push one next year, because typically you'll see more success on these tax proposals in even numbered years.
Well, there seems like there's just also a sense of urgency, though. I mean, we're talking about a lack of beds, so we're just really releasing people back onto the streets who were arrested. I mean, I feel like just hearing that from you, Tim, I'm thinking to myself that there you go. There's the urgency. That's why 2 years after the ballot measure's failure, we're back here at the table trying to make this work. But they're taking their time instead just to like get it right? Is that what you're saying? Are they really trying to bet on this one?
Well, there is a big sense of urgency here, but you have to do it right. I mean, 0.2% for a tax measure. I mean, that's for every $10 you spend, that's 2 cents that you're getting taxed. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have a population this big, it's going to generate $1.7 billion or more over 30 years. And that's a lot of money. That's not something that you just want to go out willy nilly and say, okay, we have 3 months. Let's get a tax proposal out and let's do this. Either way, it's going to take another 5 to 10 years to build that jail. So really it's in their best interest to tackle this in the most efficient and effective way now.
Tim, wait, real quick, before you get into that, 5 to 10 years to build a new jail. I mean, are these like political hurdles causing that? Like, why the delay? Is it just like standard? How big of a jail are we looking at here?
Spencer, I don't know the exact details, but I've heard several people, politicians, criminal justice leaders in the community reference that timeline. Now we're talking about a facility when it was last proposed back in 2023, 2022. It was around $500 to $600 million. That's not a $200,000 house that you put up in 6 months. It's something that's going to take potentially years, whether that means 5 to 10 years until they open. Maybe it could mean, hey, we're going to say, goal of opening in 5 years. Then we'll have this wing open by then, this wing, this wing, this wing. I don't know exactly how they plan to do it. And that's something that they're going to hash out along the way. But a jail is not the only thing that this is going to fund. I talked about trying to help the homelessness system and the opiate response as well. We're going to see money flow from this tax proposal eventually, if it comes to that, to say the county's almost 24/7 crisis stabilization center that's available to the entire region. These essential facilities that are kind of they're one of a kind in the region. It's hard to get these resources unless you're, say, going all the way to Seattle. We're going to have money flowing into all of these projects eventually. But I do think it's in their best interest to not stumble over their feet when they do get the money.
And I wonder if it's about rebranding too, like you said, because it seems like, just based on the article as I read it, it seems like the new jail is the biggest selling point. But when you're talking about a blue city like Spokane and you're asking them to wait 5 to 10 years putting tax dollars into a new jail, when maybe they don't really believe in incarceration as a solution to public safety. I wonder if maybe they will change it to talk about how it will support these other services that help people who are homeless or have addictions, like you were talking about here. That maybe that's something we see in the future. At least I'm just speculating myself based on what you're telling me.
I wouldn't go to say that the city of Spokane doesn't believe in incarceration as a tool to combat public safety challenges. I would say that
I'm talking more about residents, perhaps. Just saying, like, even voting on this.
Even in that sense, I would say that many residents largely do support incarceration when it comes to certain crimes, violent crimes, property crimes, stuff like that. Not to say like homelessness. A lot of people look at homelessness and say, hey, these people don't deserve to be in jail just because they're living on the streets. You have other people that say, hey, I don't think that they should be in jail because they're homeless, but I do think that if they're not going to accept help, we need to use that as a tool to get them into help. So I would say the city of Spokane, there's people that go both ways on that issue, residents and politicians alike. But that's why Mayor Brown, when she was a candidate, she wanted to see those other needs addressed in the community when it comes to opiate response and the homelessness system. And we definitely will see that through this next proposal. To what degree, I'm not sure, but it will be interesting. But ultimately, this is contingent on voter support. I mean, they could go this whole next year, put together this task force, do all this outreach and stuff, and say they do all the educational campaigns that they say caused it to fail last time, it could still fail this time. People might not support it. I mean, we've seen how the economy's been the last few months, with tariffs and everything else, the ups and downs, the major declines in consumer confidence. We might get to a point where this goes on the ballot and they say, hey, the cost of living is so volatile right now that we can't commit to paying more in taxes. I mean, the city of Spokane just raised taxes by 0.1%, which is half of what the last measure was. They just passed that public safety tax last November, and the city of Spokane Valley is looking at the same thing. So, I mean, there's a lot that will go into this. They might have to drop those tax rates to make up for this other one that they hope to raise. We don't even know what the new tax rate will be in whatever that proposal will be. So there's a lot of movements, a lot of elements moving around with this. But I think what's really key here is that, there is an appetite for regional collaboration. And that might not include all these smaller communities, but when you're looking at the city of Spokane, Spokane Valley, and Spokane County, that is largely the region. That is the bulk of the population right there. So, I mean, the fact that they're willing to get together and get moving on something at all, I think is very newsworthy.
Well, what are the next immediate steps here? What do we do now?
Yeah, so the county and the city of Spokane Valley, their city council, they both talked about it within the last few days. I think they're going to continue having these sort of monthly planning meetings moving forward. But the hope is that each municipality will have it up for a vote within their legislative body, hopefully in the next few months. Once each adopts that, then they will be able to officially form this task force. They'll go into those meetings. They'll choose who will be on it. It'll likely be a mix of local politicians, public safety leaders, the police chief, sheriff, city council, commissioners, service providers, stuff like that. And then as they go through this, they'll do lots of community outreach meetings, looking at gaps in the system, what needs to be bolstered, areas that they need to pull back. A lot of elements are going to go into this, but the goal, it sounds like, is to wrap up by spring 2026 and hopefully get a tax proposal out by November 2026 or sometime in 2027, 2028 if they need to push the timeline further. So we're years, maybe a decade away from a jail, but this could be the start of something very big for Spokane.
Well, Tim, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining in, talking about this, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye.